It's Offside with Hawes and McGuire.
So not hitting on you, but
knew that.
are you ready?
I'm fucking
I'm
ready.
not drinking, eh? So I apologize, but you go ahead. Ready?
Oh, should I not?
No.
okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead. That's how we start. But okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey, it's Offside with Hawes and McGuire. I'm Hawes.
I'm McGuire.
All right. You may have noticed that
I'm the only one drinking.
He's the only one drinking. Because only because I've said to myself, I'm on another one of those dry kicks. So,
I'm thinking of doing that.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been thinking for a long time. Yeah. The problem is that you overthink these things, Liam.
That's what happens.
That's what they say. You can't overthink it.
I've been a little on the down low since Ireland.
You know what?
Not gonna lie.
What do you mean? Like you've been?
Well, I've been, definitely haven't been with pedal to metal like I am a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Definitely taking her easy, and because that was a.
You went hard.
a pretty good
you
run.
went hard for a few days, but you were pretty good. Like you were, steady. You were steady. You were steady.
It wasn't like 10 years ago.
No, I don't know. I
different,
wasn't there 10 years ago, but I can tell you put in a valiant effort.
Yeah, it was a good shift, as they say.
Yeah.
Especially the first 3 days of beer, because we were with family,
Well, this is the thing.
Those first 3 nights were pretty crazy.
And you know what? People have asked. They've said, how was Liam on the trip? Was he behaved?
Yeah.
That was the thing. Was he behaved? And I said, you know what? Here's the thing. Liam had a few days ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were going to hook up one night, but we didn't. But where you were able to get a lot of that.
I did.
Out
That's
of your
a
system.
great point, actually.
You got a lot of that out of your system. So when it came to the time for the actual tour and the trip, you were like, you were there, and you certainly outpaced everyone. Okay. I think you and Beaver were both star number. The premier and the deuxième.
He's a first round pick.
Yeah. Okay. You guys certainly were 2 of the 3 stars of the of the trip, but it wasn't not. It was nothing out of control.
No. I felt really good about that. Yeah. I didn't get anybody really in any trouble, and I kept on the down low. Really.
You did? No,
for
absolutely.
The most part, so.
I say that. But I also say to people, they say, well, like, what's Liam like? I said, well, you remember that 14-year-old friend you had? And they said, yeah. I said, that's him. So.
Yeah, never grew up.
Yeah, that's his, it's both your strength and your weakness, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But that's okay.
No doubt.
All right, listen, we've got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But in particular, today, we're gonna add to our episode an interview we did a while back, like not that long ago, but just recently, but in celebration of his 90th birthday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've got coming up later in the episode, we have our interview with Brian Kilrea.
Yeah.
And it's very illuminating. Now, I'm going to tell you, again, I'm going to apologize for interviewing people in public places because I will never learn my own lessons, right?
Sound
is so hard to do, right? With
Yeah.
all the things in the background and clangety-clang, this guy's talking and somebody's screwing somebody's wife over here and this and that. But all that being said, it's a great interview and great story. And we don't want to tip. I don't want to tip the whole thing. You know what I mean? We can talk about it later. But
Well, if nothing else, just a player union conversation, I think, is one every hockey fan
absolutely
should listen to. So.
Well, it's an important part of the history of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how it was able to evolve from a place where players were exploited.
Oh, for sure.
Completely
no
exploited,
question. Yeah.
Right.
They were chattel. They were literally chattel.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. I was actually watching an interview with Derek Sanderson. He's a Boston guy, right? Okay. So with Derek Sanderson, when he was approached by the WHA.
Yep.
Okay. And initially he turned them down.
Right.
He turned down $2.6 million. Okay. They offered him 2.3, and he said, well, if you pay me 2.6, I'll make
That was
more.
over 10 years, right? It was a 10-year contract, I believe it was.
No. It was a short-term thing. It was a year that he was going to make that money because he said Pele's only making 2.6, and he would be the biggest. He would be the highest paid person. Okay, and for whatever reason it was, but he didn't trust that they were actually going to come through.
Sure.
Okay, and then his father said, "You got to be loyal to," you know what I mean, and so he went. And he was going to sign with the Bruins for $80,000. Okay, and the lawyer for the Bruins pissed him off and said, "Well, you're only worth 75." So, anyways, they came back and said, "Well, we're going to pay you we'll pay you the 80." And then the lawyer pops his head and goes, "But I still think you're only worth 75." So he goes, "Fuck you," and he went to the WHA. So you know what? Even guys who tried to be loyal. You know what I mean? They got screwed over and this and that. And the WHA did a lot more for the players than the NHL ever did. Like that.
Biggest salary increase in NHL history because of the WHA.
That's right.
And with full salary disclosure in 1991 being the second biggest era in terms of salary increases. But there was nothing like 72, 73.
Right.
That was monstrous. And Derek played a big role in that.
Well, I mean, we both know this. Frank Mahovlich. I was going to talk about Frank Mahovlich, but because he went to the Toronto Toros, didn't he? Yeah, because he left, and he ended up making way more money at the WHA. Everybody was going through that same, like the year before, Phil Esposito with his record-breaking year.
Yeah,
okay?
71,
76, right? Okay, $27,000 a year was what his salary was initially. $27,000.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, he did get a major bump the next year, but
Yeah.
for a guy who led the league, set the scoring record, that's what this guy made. And the money that they were bringing in off of their backs.
Paul Henderson told me he went from $25,000 with the Leafs to $75,000 in the WHA, and he had 3 young girls at home, his wife, and they had 3 young girls, and he said, "There's no way I'm passing that money up." No way. So that it was a case for all of them. Obviously, Derek did go. We all know, unfortunately, things didn't work out for him, or the league. But the league lasted 7 years. There were 26 franchises, of which I think 16 or 17 hit the ice at one point.
Right.
And a lot of phenomenal players got their start there, and a lot of phenomenal players ended there, like a Frank Mahovlich or a Paul Henderson, although he came back briefly in the NHL with the Atlanta Flames. But yeah, man, WHA, Brian Kilrea, his involvement a little bit earlier with the American Hockey League and the Springfield Indians, and what he did with the unionizing Springfield. And that story is hopefully the sound's not too bad and people can.
They'll be able to hear it, but it is a challenge. So I apologize from the outset. Okay, so the NHL is underway.
Yeah,
there's lots of stuff happening.
Yes,
and I'm going to say, I've watched only one game yet this year. I have been so crazy busy.
You're always busy, buddy. You're always busy.
I have not had a chance. So I watched.
Tough to sit down and watch.
I watched that Toronto game the other night.
Okay.
That was the only one because that's the only thing I get. Well, I should say I should get Senator stuff. And there's a way. Apparently, they're streaming now on
Prime. They're doing a game a week, I think it is.
Yeah,
doing
Monday night hockey.
The Monday night game.
I got to check that out. I haven't been there. To watch it, and I don't have the PVR anymore, and I know nobody has PVRs anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm still living in the 18th century. Okay.
Last time the Leafs won the Cup.
Wow. Anyhow, you've been watching some stuff, and there's been stuff that I have heard about, but I'm gonna defer to you on it because
Well, first of all, we needed to do a show because I think our last one was in Ireland.
It was in Ireland,
in Portrush, right?
In Portrush, and it was not that long ago.
No, I know, and it's so surreal even to just think back where we were that night. And a lot of the guys were there watching.
Yeah, well, we had a crowd.
So we had a live crowd, and we're gonna post that on.
It's already up.
I know that's up, but I mean when we do this one. We'll let the boys know that that the show's up. Yeah. I know some of them know already. They have it, but some of the other guys that didn't know want to know when the next one's up. I just think it's cool because they were all sitting around when we were
Yeah.
we were doing the show, and he had such an amazing night with the storyteller and the guy who sang Rocky Road to Dublin. Then the woman comes out of the back and absolutely walked right out of an opera stage. I mean, it was unbelievable, but that whole night. But yeah, man, listen. We needed to do a show.
Yeah, we did.
We needed to tee up Kilrea.
Yeah.
I was at his 90th birthday party. I was asked to speak.
Yeah.
It was a tremendous honor. I did their auction. No surprise there, but happy to do it. And just really happy and honored to have a chance to say a couple of words about Killer. And so that's why this interview is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing to go up. So I hope if you do nothing else, man, watch that interview. This guy turned 90 on Monday. The birthday was celebrated on the 20th. He turned on the 21st. And I'm really happy that we were able to get him.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
put him on.
Well, we've got to do it again because there's so much.
Yeah, we
history
barely
in
scratched
here.
the surface.
Yeah, and so much that
irrespective of his time too, and it's
Yeah.
it's just even at 90.
No, listen, he owes us. No, just
Yeah. No, it was Levente Super flew in from Budapest to attend this thing.
Oh, really?
On Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could imagine. He took 3 planes, it took a day and a half travel or something, and he came all the way to see Killer. And
Yeah.
it's just not the type of effect the guy had. So
Yeah.
I'm really pleased we had a chance to sit down with him. And in terms of the Leafs, I mean, right now, whenever we get this up, maybe they'll have righted the ship. But right now, Chris, they are absolutely sucking right now. As are a number of other teams, including Montreal. But
and the Edmonton Oilers.
And the Edmonton Oilers, who started terribly, then got a couple of wins, and then blew a lead against Carolina, picked up a point. Connor looks like he's starting to turn it around, which we know he will.
You know he will, but it's not him. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that faked. It's like a fake video. So it's
the AI stuff that's
AI
out there.
stuff
Oh yeah, I
that's
saw
out
it. It's on free. It's the funniest stuff going. Who's ever putting these together
it's like,
is unfree. Like it's tears running down your face. Funny.
Yeah.
The commentary about Connor talking
about Skinner.
about Skinner and about Bouchard
Yeah.
and the whole thing. And the same one with they just did one with Jacob Trouba after his hit on Barron.
I haven't seen that one yet.
We'll talk about that too. About that hit. We can finish with that if you want. I know we're not going to be on long today, but anyway, the Leafs. Everyone's we're less than 10 games in. You got to figure they're going to right the ship, much like Edmonton has a little bit. Look, Colorado lost first 4, have won the next 4,
right.
And they absolutely spanked Utah last night. Like that was just a spank job. And Utah started pretty strong.
They did start strong, but you know what? You expect that it's a new franchise. They're kind of coming to the gate. For Christ's sake, the Ottawa Senators won their very first game in history against the Montreal Canadiens.
That's true.
Right?
And the Habs won the cup that year.
Right.
So, it just goes to show you anything can happen early on.
There's a lot of
we're all
energy.
guilty.
Yeah.
We all can be guilty. Everybody is guilty today because the phones you live minute by minute, period by period, shift by shift. Somebody has a bad shift, Twitter blows up and says the guy's a bum, cut him, trade him. It's unfreaking believable the way the world is today. And these are all Bob and a bunch of numbers commenting and from their mom's basement, the usual gibberish. And it's that's what's out there today that carries the day. The majority of the commentary is that type of commentary. So you have to disseminate through a lot of bullshit. But at the end of the day, if you watch the Leafs play right now, that's a couple of real bad games in a row for a team that kind of should be on cruise control as they have been mostly in the Austin Matthews era, especially the Golden Four era, and they just cruise into the playoffs before they explode. Right?
Yeah.
So they're going a little early this year, it appears,
Well,
Chris.
no, you know what? I think, and I don't like the Leafs. I was just, again, I would like to see the Leafs reach their potential. Okay.
Yeah.
I really would.
I feel there's a joke coming in here for sure.
No. I really do. I do wish they reach their potential. I just, you know what? It is just so frustrating though to see them do this over and over again, and like they're their own worst enemies. Right? At the end of the day, that game the other night, it was good, but like the Rangers, they're a strong team, eh?
Well, they're
ridiculously good
we're
team.
coming up to, like, when we get through this weekend, half the teams will have achieved the 10-game mark.
Yeah.
So far in the early going NHL, the Rangers are the best I've seen.
Yeah.
They're the best team that I've seen. Notwithstanding, I have not watched the full 60 minutes of Winnipeg, who are 7-0.
Right.
So I'll say that openly. I've not watched the full 60 minutes of Winnipeg. I've gone like this and said, oh yeah, the Jets, okay, they're winning 2-0. Okay, back and go back to the other game. They're 7-0.
Yeah.
So, And Calgary just had their first regulation loss the other night. So maybe anomalies, yeah, probably. But and that holds true for the Leafs as well. But at the end of the day, Austin's, they're off to a slow start. Yeah. It's a slow start. Let's call it what it is, because that's what it is. It's a slow start. And yeah, they should still be able to back into the playoffs. But when you've got some question marks in goal, which they do, and when you have a defense that it continues to be a work in progress, they don't know what's going on with Lindgren. It's the online battles over Lindgren. I tell you, it's if you like that sort of thing, it's required reading, because it's unbelievable. Leaf fans going at each other. Oh my God! It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I know you're not on Twitter. It's hilarious to read. But having said that, you're getting some mileage out OEL. Like, they're going to turn it around, but right now it's they're definitely in quicksand right now.
Well,
so we'll see.
I will tell you this. I want the Leafs to, like I said, I made a prediction that the Edmonton Oilers are going to be the President's Cup winners.
You did. You said that in Ireland. Yeah. Well, I went out on a limb called Florida to repeat. Right now they're looking pretty strong. I mean, they beat New York the other night in New York, but big deal. But
you know what? Speaking of New York, by the way, no one wants to fight Rempe.
No, no one's going to fight him right now.
What? They sent him down?
Sent him down to the minors.
When was that?
He's gone to the Hartford Wolfpack. They sent him down 24 hours ago.
Really?
And well, he's played 2 games. He's played 2 games, and he had his customary fights there. He fought Keefe, fought somebody else, I think, and they sent him down. They don't have room for him in the lineup right now, much like the Habs right now aren't dressing Jack Eye. Now they probably will tomorrow night, because Barron, I doubt very much, will be dressing. Right. We can talk about that hit in a minute. But Jack Eye's not dressing right now. I don't think that's indicative of anything in terms of fighting per se. He hasn't had a particularly good. He's only played 4 games.
Right.
At a Montreal start. He hasn't picked up a point.
Now, is his brother playing as well?
He's playing in Laval.
Oh, okay.
He's playing in Laval, and they're off to a nice start. But whatever, American Hockey League, and that's where the development goes. But Rempe's gone down under the commentary is that he's going to refine his game.
Right. So, but because he's a rookie, though, he didn't have to pass waivers. He didn't have to do anything.
No, they can send him right down.
Send him right down.
Yeah, no worry about being claimed, because I think somebody would. If they had the chance, somebody would grab him for depth, if nothing else. I mean, he was a story for 6 weeks in the NHL last year.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you say, he was.
Yeah.
And it was trending that way early this year because of the video that he showed at training with George Larac on the ice. He went on the ice, and George Larac training him how to fight and showing him how to work uppercuts. It was... I mean, that's hockey, baby. That's what I'm talking right there.
Well, it's good to see that George Larac is being able to do some good consulting work.
Yeah, hey, a guy's got to work, man. A guy's got to eat.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, he should be maybe working for the NHL in player safety.
Well, George Parrell says, what's the difference? Yeah. So, the only difference is George Larac was one of the most feared enforcers ever, whereas George Parrell's had about an 18-month window where he might have been up there before he got speed bagged by Colton Orr and knocked into 9 years from now. So now he's running the Department of Player Safety, and nothing against George Parrells. He's actually an incredibly gifted academic man with a university and college education from the United States. He's actually quite smart. But hey, listen, the guy can make 7 figures a year, and you're a big, strong man. All you got to do is drop the gloves 30 times a year. You're going to do it. I'd do it. You'd do it.
I'd do it.
I mean, if
I do it for about a year. Right.
Well, because we say that now because we sit here because we can't conceptualize what that would be like to be able to sign a 2 or 3 or 4 year contract, basically guaranteeing your life financially.
Here's the thing,
because you're 6'4", 250, 240.
Yeah, I know, and you know what, and the thing is like hockey fights are different than getting punched in the head by your brothers, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, your brothers
or in a street fight.
Yeah, or in a street fight. Yeah, it's different. Like
or a bar fight, street fight, whatever.
There's a decorum in hockey fighting, right?
Yeah. Well, plus the refs are coming in at some point. If everything goes to hell in a handbasket, you're going to...
Yeah, the refs will come in. Yeah. No, absolutely. So
but Rempe's down. Rempe's down.
Okay, well, that's good.
And by the way, Chris should point it out, because I just heard it coming in. This will be old news by the time we post. But Lafreniere just signed 7 years with the Rangers.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
I 7 point something. I didn't hear the actual number, so it's got to be over $50 million contract. Right. And he's off to a great start. He's playing so well. I'm so happy We all fell in love with him, what he did for Team Canada in the World Juniors.
Yeah.
And with Barrett Hayden there, and that was.
But he had a rough go in New York for the first bit. Though.
Yeah, absolutely. He was down to the fourth line. They were screaming because you live right now for the moment. Yeah. This is the point I'm making. Look at Byfield in LA, who's starting really to turn and burn and play well. You know, it's because Stützle came in Ottawa and did so well. Right. And Jake Sanderson, and they did so well. And these picks that were taken ahead of these guys, languishing and looking terrible, well, not so much right now. Yeah. Lafreniere's on the best team in the league, and he's right there behind, Zibanejad and Panarin. You know, I mean, it's the other way around, but I mean, he would be probably the.
Now, Panarin is he's the guy who owns the bread company?
Yeah, same guy. Okay. Yeah, the bread man. Most of you guys out there, your moms would know them very well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got some good soups too, just so you know.
Did you ever have the bread delivered?
Eh?
We had the bread delivered.
Really?
Yeah, we had the bread delivered in Stoneham. As kids, we had bread delivered.
But not the Panera bread, like not that
Panera
company
that ever came to Stoneham in the 1960s.
No, I was going to say.
I have no idea what it was, but we had our bread delivered.
So we had a big family, right? You guys aren't that big.
Just three boys,
right?
Yeah.
So, and we used to whatever it was. My mom used to go and buy day-old bread. Okay,
yeah.
The day-old bread. We'd go to the bakery directly to there was a bakery in Coniston. Okay, we'd go directly to the bakery. She'd buy day-old bread, and they'd have the racks where there'd be a dozen loaves of bread on the racks, and we'd just pick up the rack and put it in the car.
Nice.
And return the rack the next week because we would go through that much bread and more every week.
Yeah,
like
awesome.
It was. And milk.
I love that.
And milk. We would buy milk. Like, milk was affordable. Like, sort of. I remember my father seriously considering, and having a, it wasn't an argument, but it was a discussion with Phil Nadowski, who was the mayor at the time, who ended up winning the lottery, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, he won the Olympic Lotto in 1976 or whatever.
Come on.
First millionaire. Okay, yeah, crazy. Anyhow, so he's saying, trying to convince me, why can't I have a cow? He goes, I had a cow. We had a cow when I grew up in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what why can't I have a cow?
1930s. What's the difference?
My kids are they're eating me out of house and home. So, I remember that, and Phil goes, you can't have a cow in town. You're not allowed to have a cow in the town.
Well, you remember Claire Alexander for Toronto back in the 70s. His nickname was the Milkman. And then there's that funny story about how a young delivering milk at 5 a.m. in Chicago hammered out of his mind, took the police about 6 blocks to catch up to him, and he ended up crashing the truck because he drank all night with the milk guy who got hammered. So then he said, I'll do your route. He didn't know where he was going. He wasn't from Chicago. He just started dropping milk at any of the addresses. He rolled over a couple mailboxes and hit a couple cars. They phoned the police on him. By the time they tracked him down, he was wherever, he already crashed the milk truck. But and Panarin is the bread man.
Yeah.
He's the bread man, and he is delivering. Speaking of delivering delivering the bread.
Look at you with the whole,
Ron McLean's got nothing on me.
All right. Well, okay. So we were going to talk about, speaking of New York Rangers, and
we should talk about the hit, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
well, you
talk about segue.
First of all, I love Trouba. I think
so do I.
My
God, he'd play on my team any day.
Yeah, absolutely. But tell me about this hit. Tell me about the
I feel as the NHL did. There was no call at the time on the ice, and there's no supplementary discipline or investigation. I think that's perfectly right. If anybody watching, and this has been indicated by many media people, both in print or electronic or on camera, a number of people who have a tremendous problem with the hit, and you lobby the NHL to change the rule. Because under the rule...
So describe the hit to me.
Well, Barron came across the blue line carrying the puck and had his chin on his chest. That's basically what it was.
Yeah. So
Trouba saw another victim of the Trouba train and came in basically like Scott Stevens used to. Now, yes, we all know that some of Stevens' hits back in the day would be penalties today because he did target the head. And he did blatantly... maybe borderline interference, whatever, and it was called a good hit back in the day. You know this, Chris.
Absolutely.
So in the case today, in 2024, Trouba came in, he made contact here, right there first, And Barron also, who's not a small man, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
But he was kind of in the process of trying to cut. He was down a little bit. We all skate. Anybody who skates knows you don't all skate like this. He's carrying the puck. He was in like this a little bit. Trouba came in at an angle, skates down, elbow down, shoulder down, shoulder to chest, came up, head was secondary point of contact.
Right.
And he laid him out. And it was a good, clean hit. And that's the way I saw it.
Yeah.
I don't think there should have been any extra penalty on the play. And if you can, find the AI of the Trouba thing. I swear to God, you better have some Kleenex because you'll be mopping up tears. It's so freaking funny. And look, I bleed Habs. I'm a hardcore Hab fan. The score was 5-2 at the time. Mike Matheson, of all people, they didn't dress Jack-Eye. Okay. Rangers didn't dress Rempe, so we missed out on that. What would have been a nice heavyweight tilt. And as a result, we got Matheson jumping in, who's borderline getting hurt every second game anyway. And he went in and started firing right hands.
Kelly Gruber of the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, I think, well, that, you know, it's funny, you say Kelly Gruber, but that's Goulet. Goulet right now is another guy. He plays like Scott Stevens, except he's half the size. Right. You know, and you're back there as a defense, hitting everything that moves. Like, I love him as a player. When he's in the lineup, he's probably Montreal's best overall defenseman. Yeah. You know, notwithstanding Lane Hudson's made a hell of an impression here in the early going. Last few games more for some defensive lapses, but he's still so dynamic when he's carrying the puck. It's incredible, notwithstanding, again, a couple of giveaways in the last few games and been stripped of the puck. But the hit was clean. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So that's why I asked it.
The hit was clean. We needed to comment on it. It was the number one topic in the league for 48 hours and until the next one.
Yeah.
And there was no supplementary discipline or even discussed.
Well, I will trust, as you've described it, I trust that your recollection of that was accurate. And you know what? Here's the thing.
It's against the Habs, too. Like, you believe me. You know?
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't want Barron out. I mean, the guy who was playing looked like, okay. The thing is, Chris, and, you know, Sidney Crosby trains, Barron's a Nova Scotia kid. They train out there. They said, Montreal's got such a blue chipper. They traded Lehkonen for him, right? Yeah. And they got such a blue chipper, and he's this and he's that. Hey, he's a real pretty player. Yeah. You know, he's really pretty. But, you know, you just don't win. Like, hello, did anybody watch the playoffs last year?
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. One,
start building your team of axe murderers back there. That's how you win. You have to have a group of guys that are ready to go out there and absolutely execute in more ways than one.
Well, you know what?
Can't be a bunch of pansies. And if you're going to go, everybody should be going. You know, I had to laugh at the broadcaster who doing the game after the hit and Trouba comes out of the box. Oh, everybody's now making sure that taking a good, healthy run and letting Jacob Trouba know they're there. Should you not have been doing that already? Yeah. Holy fuck. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. I don't understand it. Where's the guys? Run the game, run your team, understand what you need. And if you're going to go, if you're going to make the decision, I love Josh Anderson. Speaking of big guys, he's pushing 6'3", probably about 208, built like that door, you know, and he can fight. But he's out there with whatever, Schneider, whatever his name is out there, who's kind of like, he's pushing the envelope physically in terms of the pushing match, you know? Like it's going like this. Josh, it's pretty much go time. It's 5-2. Yeah. You know what, buddy? Drop the flippers and let's go, kid. Let's go. What are you doing? You're going to score 5 goals this year. Get on the goddamn game sheet. Very frustrating to watch. Yeah. Frustrating to watch from that point of view. It's the Hab fan coming out of me, but the hit was clean.
Yeah. All right. Next topic. We're going to jump right over to, speaking of, like, you know, watching and fans and stuff like that, to the gentleman who scored the very first goal for the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah.
We're jumping to our interview.
Oh, you're going to play the interview.
We're going to play our interview, and then we'll come back after that.
Also had the first ever misconduct in Los Angeles King history.
Did he really?
Yeah. In Game 2, he got a tripping penalty in the third period against the Minnesota North Stars. I believe the referee was Vern Buffy, who's passed away, but he wrote a book called Black and White and Never Right, and it was co-written with a man named Mike Monty, who was one of my professors at college. And I met Vern back in 81, 82 when he was still alive, and he said, I'd been in the NHL 6 years at that point, and I never heard a man swear like Brian Kilrea. So we gave him a misconduct penalty, and it was the first misconduct in LA King history.
Oh, there you go. So he's got 2 records there.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Here we're queuing up our episode of Shooting the Shot.
Shoot the shot.
Hey, welcome to Offside with Haas McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire.
Today, as another one of our segments, we like to call Shooting the
Shot.
The Shot. That's right. It's pronounced shot.
Not what you would normally say.
Today, we're shooting the shot with
A legend.
A legend. And we'll talk about this. Why don't you introduce who we're talking about?
Should we say where we are?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We are at Broadway's
Yes.
Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, by the way, the best, like honestly, best breakfast in all of Ottawa.
Yeah, it's
The
great breakfast
home
here.
fries.
Yeah.
I for one can attest to the fact that that So if my
You don't miss many meals, eh, bud?
no, well, you know what? Not here. We actually, Kristen, my wife, will actually come and pick them up and bring them home.
No
we
kidding.
can have- absolutely. We're very big Broadway customers.
Well, so is this guy every Tuesday, and we're at the Prince of Wales and Fisher location.
Right.
And we thank them very much for giving us a little bit of space here, because Killer comes in here on Tuesdays, as he told me on the phone yesterday when we set this up, Chris. So I feel very thankful that you can do this with us, Killer. It's a great spot, and I know you're here with a bunch of guys that many in Ottawa would know. For example, Terry Marcotte and Dave Schreiber here today.
And Donnie Brennan's covering the Red Rocks. Usually here, Donnie Campbell.
Donnie
is
Campbell.
usually here. So
Two
yeah,
long
we have a
time.
good group.
Longtime journalists, and I will formally introduce you, Brian, even though you really don't need any, but he's the winningest coach in Canadian Major Junior Hockey history. 1,193 wins, I believe. 5-time Coach of the Year in the O, 2-time Coach of the Year in Canada, 2-time Memorial Cup winner. Scored the first ever goal for the LA Kings, played with Detroit in the late 50s, had a game with the Red Wings and Gordie Howe. Springfield and his association with Eddie Shore is where we're going to start this interview, Chris, because we're not going to...
Whoa. Before we start...
Yeah, oh, you want to mention something
here. Because we've met before. We've actually met on a couple of occasions. And I used to, believe it or not, when I was a comedian, your namesake bar, I used to perform in the basement all the time. Killer's on Maribel.
Oh, sir.
Maribel.
Yeah.
I was there.
Okay. But we met when I was about a 14-year-old kid. Okay, I grew up in a little town, you may know it, Coniston. And
Definitely
okay.
I do.
All
We're
right.
home with Jimmy Fox.
That's right. Well, literally right across the street from my house. But I was the worst pick you never made, is what I'm saying. You pick Bino, you pick Boyd, you pick Fox, and where are they now? None of them are playing. I'm still playing. So as far as longevity goes, I just want to say I was the better pick.
Yeah, but Jimmy Fox is doing the call for LA Kings. And he'll probably stay there for a while. He's doing a good job.
He's doing a great. He's actually in the California Sports Hall of Fame now.
Yes, he is.
For both that.
And he also owns a vineyard.
That's right.
Yeah, he's very successful.
Yeah, no, he's done very well. He was always a nice guy. He actually taught me the toe drag when I was a kid. So he's a few years older, but
outstanding junior.
My brothers played on that Pee Wee hockey team. I should have brought the picture. I should have posted it there. So Randy, Jimmy, Chris Vino, Riel Gervin, my 2 brothers, all on one team in a tiny little town of nothing.
Yeah.
It was,
Northern
There's
Ontario.
also another guy there that was constant, Jerry Foley.
that's right, yeah. But he was
Jerry
old.
Foley. I played with Jerry Foley for many years in
Yeah.
Springfield. A super individual.
Yeah.
But the funny part was, not only did Sudbury not get any of those 3, I drafted Mario Seri out of Sudbury and Daniel Lange out of just on the other side of Sudbury, Walden, I think it was. And so we had 5. So when we used to go there, I think we had more fans for us than Sudbury.
Well, I remember going to those games when you guys had come to visit Sudbury.
Yeah.
Because everybody loved the success of the other people in town. That's one of the best parts of Northern Ontario, I'll tell you, is that people celebrated the success of other people and really wanted them to succeed once they were on their way. It wasn't easy though. My father tells the story of how a lot of people were very hard on Jimmy when he was coming up. They didn't like the fact that he was so good, and they were screaming at him in the stands and lots of stuff like that. But
then he moved to North Bay and played for North Bay for a couple
at 14.
Yeah.
At 14, yeah, no, he was a phenomenal.
For sure, unbelievable.
But you know what? We're not here to talk about Conundrums. We're here to talk about Brian Kilrea and some of the benchmark things that you've done in your career. And Liam, you led to the first piece that most people won't even know.
No, most don't. And I had the privilege of attending a Bill Kitchen memorial event with Killer just a number of months back, and I grabbed on my phone just a bit of video of you talking, I believe about 1967 in Springfield, if I've got the year right, when Eddie Shore, and I'm going to roll it out, Killer, correct me on any details I've got wrong, but I think he suspended several players without pay, including Bill White. And I think you spoke up and then ultimately were suspended immediately for speaking up, you and somebody else. And then it led to a confrontation with Shore. And in there, I've got a bit of a gray area at what point Alan Eagleson was called to come down. And you can kind of take it from there, because it's my belief that conference, it's not only my belief, I believe this is a fact, that the actual start of the NHL Players Union, such as it is today, was a genesis of what happened to you in Springfield in '67 with Eddie Shore. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, well, as it turned out, the three players were Dale Rowe, Dave Amadio, and Bill White. They were the heart of our team, and they held out at training camp. And they all wanted a $500 raise, which Shore didn't want to give, but finally couldn't start the season without these three defensemen. So as it turned out, he had to give it to them. But as it turned out, we had a week off. We played a Saturday night game, and we had a week off. Well, after that game, he suspended those three players for a week, and it was just magically for that $500 that they held out for at training camp. So as it turned out, I did speak up, but we had a banquet, and a booster card banquet, and when we were told they were suspended, they were upset, the players. So some of the players asked me, would I go and speak up? So I went to Shore the next day, and I said, but I did say before, I said, I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. I'll go and speak up, and he's going to suspend me. That's first. But I said, I'll still do it. So as it turned out, the next day, I went to meet Eddie Shore as he walked in the rink. And as it turned out, I said, I'm here on behalf of the players and representing them, the three players that he suspended. And he told me I represent nothing. That wasn't his words. I'm cleaning it up. Anyway, as it turned out, I walked back to the dressing room, but Shore beat me to it. And he said, so it's all this. He said, stick around. I got letters for y'all. Anyway, so I came in and I said, guys, there's no use waiting around. I'll try and talk to him tomorrow. And I said, we should leave. So we all left, but we went over to a handy bar across the street to talk about it. And I was pretty smart, for one thing, because Jerry Foley was one of the most respected guys on our team. And I said, Paul, this is probably going to get bigger than we want. Why don't you be a spokesman with me? And I don't mind doing the talking, but I'd like to know that you're with me. He said, yeah. So anyway, before we could get out of that bar, the trainer came in with a letter for me that I was suspended for a different play. Now, we had played the last game on the Saturday night, and I had a goal and 3 assists. So it was a different play. I guess I should have got about 10. I don't know. But anyway, as it turned out, we kept them out, and I kept calling meetings morning and night just to try to keep the guys so they understand what's going on. So we did it for a couple of days, and finally, I didn't realize it would get so big. And finally, we were getting nationwide. We were getting reporters from New York, Boston, Chicago. They're all coming down doing interviews. So we had a rule: no one could do an interview but me. I didn't want to have someone speak and say something that was really going to be detrimental to us. You know, there wasn't very many things we wanted. We just wanted the players back and really proper medical, which we didn't have. And anyway, finally, on the Thursday, I think it was Bill White said, "What about that guy in Toronto that's got Bobby Orr?" He said, "Al Eagles." I said, "Fine." I said, "This is above me." So I called Eagleson, and Eagles said, "I see you got a little bit of a problem down there." I said, "A big one." He said, "I'll fly down tonight." He brought a fellow by the name of Ray Smela with him. They flew into Hartford that night. Jerry Fuller and I went and picked them up, brought them in. We had a meeting on Friday. He talked to the players, and he said, "We scheduled a meeting at the shore," and he went over to shore, and Ray Smale came back and he said,
Wow, we're back. Now, what you know what? Something I never mentioned to you while we were in Ireland, but because we weren't near there. But there's a little town
The
called
South?
There's. I'm gonna tell you. So I'm talking to.
That's an inside thing.
Yeah. But I was gonna tell you this. There's a town called Kilrea in Tipperary.
Okay.
Okay, which is
Spelt the same, right?
yeah,
The same way? Okay.
Spelled the same way, and it's actually about not even 3 miles from where Kristen's family
No way.
comes from in that area. Yeah,
Well, it's a long way there.
it is a long way to Tipperary. It is. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite Mary Tyler Moore episodes was that last one. Remember that one?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that, and then there was, of course...
What a great show.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it?
Great show.
Oh.
Great theme song, too.
Oh, yeah.
Great theme song, and what a great actress. And that whole show, every actor in there.
You know what we'll do?
Was
At the end
phenomenal.
of this show, we'll end the show, we'll sing the theme song. Okay, do you remember it?
I'm definitely not singing the theme song.
Come on.
You
Come
can
on.
sing the
Who
theme
can turn
song.
the world on with her smile. Come on.
I'll drink my Molson next.
Okay, maybe we won't do that. But will you twirl around in the middle of a city street and throw your hat
I'll
up?
twirl around, throw it empty.
All right. So what are we going? We're going to close on something. What are we going to talk about?
Well, I
on
wanted to give the Sens a shout out. You know, I mean, they're off to a great start here. They're hitting now. We're on the verge. By the time you post this, we'll be coming up to the verge of the month that's killed them.
Right.
For the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, what's your gut feel? We'll finish on this note. How do you think their Sens are going to do?
So I have been just following them from reports, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. You haven't
seen
seen
it.
yeah.
I haven't seen them play yet.
Okay.
And I won't be seeing them play in Ottawa. Okay. I'm not going to the rink anymore
Why not?
because they don't take money.
Have they gone cashless?
Yeah. And I don't believe in that. I think it's completely.
I didn't know
it's
that.
horrible.
Actually. Maybe I did and I'd forgotten. But,
Yeah. So it forces everybody to have a credit. Of course, I have a credit card. I got all this.
Yeah.
But what if you're a poor person and someone gives you tickets to the game? You can't get a drink because you don't have a credit card.
Yeah.
You can't buy a pretzel for your kid.
Yeah.
Because you don't have or you got to use your bank card, which they charge you fee after fee after
Yeah,
fee.
that's fundamentally wrong.
I got my
Prescott Hotel's doing the same thing and pisses me off.
Well, you know what? I don't think that it should be legal. I mean, that it says right there on your friggin' bills, legal. This note is legal tender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the whole idea behind cash. This whole digital bullshit, and I get, you know what? It saves us from having to do accounting at the end of the day, counting money and all that stuff goes directly into the bank. Yes, but you're disenfranchising like whole groups of people.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what I mean? Like, and anyways, that's just my thing. So I'm not going to, I'll watch them on TV. I'll go and see them at another rink that accepts cash, but I'm not going anymore. And they're not going to change their rules for me.
No,
Okay.
you're probably not alone, but unfortunately there won't be enough of you that's going to make a difference.
No, but you know what?
That's
Here's the thing. You don't stand up for it now. Next thing you know, you have no rights. They take away. It's
Yeah.
you know what here. It was an analogy that was given to me, and I thought, man, that's exactly it. We're frogs in a pot, and they've been turning up the heat gradually and changing things gradually. So it's not all one. Next thing you know, that we're going to be boiled, right? Because we
Gotta
are.
find another lily pad.
Well, no, you can't. You're in the pot. They turn it. You'll be. Well, we will.
Oh.
They're turning up the heat slowly, and the water's getting hotter, so we don't notice it and we don't jump out. That's the thing. That's what's happening with everybody in society. I know. I'm gonna leave because I got to get my tinfoil hat, okay, and go to a meeting of the Conspiracies Anonymous or something. But anyway, it's just one of those things. So Mr. Andlauer, you know what? I love your team, all that stuff, but you know what? This whole ridiculous not accepting cash is punitive to the poor people who live in this country, frankly.
Well, I'm pissed off about it too. Obviously, I'm still a guy that carries cash. I find I pull it out to pay. They've already punched in, ready for me to put a card. Oh, I'm paying by cash, and you almost have to ask now. Do you take cash? I've said that at cashiers, even in the last 7 days. A couple places where I've been. Do you take cash? Yeah, we take cash. Okay. So you still pay. But I mean, I'd forgotten that the rink had gone cashless.
Yeah.
So
the last time I was there, it was like, that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, fair enough. You're making a statement.
Absolutely. I'm only hurting myself, but they don't care. They don't care about me, right?
Well, they certainly don't care about somebody who's going to draw a line and say I'm not coming because we're not taking cash.
Well, yeah, but if you don't draw a line, then if people don't stand up and vote with their feet, then all they're doing is accepting poor service, bad behavior.
I agree.
All those things.
I agree.
Right?
You're a man of conviction, and you're standing by it. I applaud that.
Those convictions were overturned.
Okay, that's right. That's true. You got off those. You did have a good lawyer.
I did. Well, you know what? I used my credit card to pay for it.
There you go.
All right, we're done. This is it. You finish your beer.
I didn't even get my pint done,
Oh,
but I'm
geez.
very close.
This is a short episode.
This is a very short episode.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. There's anything you have to say in closing? But we'll be back another day.
We'll be back. No, I'm good. We needed to do a show and tee up Kilrea. That was the most important thing.
All right. Well, this has been Offside with Haas and McGuire. I'm Haas.
I'm McGuire. G'day.